we go.
Back
Okay.
at it again.
So what were you talking about? The whale? No, just
The
kidding.
whale of dreams, nightmares.
Um, yeah, we were talking about some dreams and nightmares.
We've been having nightmares this week.
I also have been getting up.
Sleep getting up, sleep searching for things.
Sleep searching, yeah.
Weird.
um, so we have a big announcement. Jasmine's going to the military
Yeah, it's my last episode.
before she goes to war, which is actually kind of sad because, like, are you able to go to war?
Yeah.
Because, like, there's like all this shit going on with Russia.
So you think there's gonna be a war? I'm gonna go.
I'm just saying it's a crazy time right now.
It
I'm
isn't
not
it
saying I
like
think you're gonna go.
always?
Hopefully you don't go,
Isn't
but
it always a crazy time right now?
yeah, I'm just saying like it's a
Yeah.
little like
Yeah, in the reserves, you could still get deployed, but it all depends on like your job. And I'm not going to war. Like I'm not going to be shooting people. That's infantry. Like that infantry is when they like have guns and stuff.
yeah.
And I mean, I'll probably have a gun, but
Do you want to have a gun? Have you
I
ever shot a gun?
no, I
Are
haven't.
you pro gun? You're for guns?
No. Okay. Hold on a second. You're coming at me strong right now. So, I've actually been against guns like most of my whole life because I feel like that is the reason why there's so much like not I mean not gun violence but just like shootings and killings and stuff.
Yeah,
But when I was living in Oregon,
yeah,
everyone has a gun out there.
yeah,
But they're not like stupid about it. Like it's kind of like normalized to where oh you have a gun like that means, you're just trying to be safe or whatever. Where like out here it's like ooh you have a gun like it's like I don't know.
what are what are the laws over there to have a gun though? Like are there
Um
requirements or anything?
Yeah, they do like a full on background check. You have to register it just like normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how yeah, like we just kind of have to keep hearing about these like tragic massacres that
Mhm.
happen
Mhm.
and then we just have to be like numb to it in a way. Well, not I don't want to say numb because I think that's like irresponsible for us to ever get to that point.
Mhm.
But our government doesn't help us, make this situation any better. Like literally every time this happened, nothing, absolutely nothing changes.
Yeah.
So that's pretty
You mean
sad.
as far as like mass shootings go and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if they did change the gun laws, people would get pissed and they would still
Yeah.
be buying guns illegally
Yeah.
and like
No, I mean it's not even like it like the solution I don't think is banning guns entirely. Like that I don't think that's a solution. Um I
mhm.
think there's like a compromise or at least efforts that the government can do to attempt to make the situation better, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's just absolutely nothing that they're doing.
I don't know. Yeah, I was about to say I don't know what they're doing if they're I feel like they should enhance mental health that should be a priority in every state
Yeah,
and everyone who wants to buy a gun should go through like a thorough check which supposedly they do but it
right.
should be focused on like their mental health and stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely think like that should be a requirement. It's a
Mhm.
requirement to do all these things before you get your driver's license.
Mhm.
It's a requirement to do like all these
Which is
things to
good.
just it's a requirement to be 21 when you drink, like
Yeah.
if you want to go to a bar and stuff like legally. But there's like hardly any requirements in some states to just get a gun. Like
Mhm.
any 18-year-old can get a gun. And
I think
that's
so,
really
yeah.
scary. And I think like yeah, maybe a possible solution or like even just something to test out is like maybe you should take some classes and learn how to use a gun. You have
Yeah.
to be a certain age, you can get a gun, register it, and then maybe like I don't know, add on some like fucking therapy courses and make sure like
Yeah.
people know where you're
Like you're
standing while
okay.
you have this gun. And then maybe people won't even get guns because it'll be like so much work at that point.
mhm.
But if there are like responsible gun owners that really need their gun because that helps them feel better, like
Yeah.
I think there should be more requirements.
Yeah, it's kind of weird cuz my friends in Oregon, like they always went shooting like every week, and I was gonna go with them, but it just like never happened.
Yeah.
But they normalized it to where I was like, oh yeah, like go shooting, like oh yeah, you have a gun, like that's cool, you know. It
Yeah.
was totally normal because they were like not crazy people, and they grew up around guns as like a sport and a hobby.
Yeah.
But out here, I feel like we don't see it as a sport or a hobby. We see it as protection and leading to violence.
Yeah. For me, like, if our world didn't have any guns, I think that would be just a better world. But there are, and I'm not going to be like, oblivious to the reality of the world that we live in because there's no going back from that like anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I think a compromise that people need to do is just to try to find like a decent in between.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I think it would be a better world too if there were no guns.
yeah, but that's not reality and that's not
Yeah.
realistic. Like you can't just ask to ban guns
Yeah. Yeah,
because people are gonna I don't know, they're gonna be really pissed.
it's a very controversial topic
Yeah.
because a lot of people who like end up going on these shootings got the guns illegally. Or like do you remember in high school
The
like
bombs.
the bomb threat? That was fun.
Those kids, like, it's crazy because, like, sorry to interrupt, but, like, we didn't experience, like, mass shootings in schools. We weren't, like, that really concerned about it. Probably, and if we were, it was until, like, a later age.
Mhm.
Um, versus kids now, it's like elementary school kids have to worry about that shit.
Shit.
But what were you gonna say?
Oh, do you remember that kid in high school who committed suicide?
There was, like, a couple.
Oh, fuck.
Which one?
Okay, well, I remember it was like freshman year, this kid who was a sophomore committed suicide, and his dad was a cop,
Oh,
and
okay.
he used his dad's gun.
Was it the kid, that had the Asian girlfriend?
I think so.
And he
Yeah.
was black, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, and I remember
That's
I
so
was like,
sad
I
because he
was,
was like, I didn't really know him well either, but he seemed nice, and his girlfriend
yeah.
was really nice. I was
So
happy
it was
for her.
kind of like, obviously he was mentally
Yeah,
unstable. His dad was a cop, so he had easy access to a gun. So it's like, what's the issue? Like, there's just so many
yeah,
things
that's
that could
true.
have prevented it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, even okay. Did you hear about? I don't remember which state it was. I'm always gonna just go to Florida.
Florida's the bad one.
Even though it probably wasn't in Florida, and I have a feeling it wasn't. But there's this kid who I think is a first grader. He got a gun
Oh my
and he
gosh.
shot his teacher. Luckily, his teacher didn't die,
No.
but like he got a gun from his mom.
Dude.
Like his mom didn't hand it to him, but like he was able to access it.
It was his mom's gun.
Yeah, take it to school and shoot his teacher.
How does a first grader know how
Not
to use
only
a gun?
that, I think he needed like support, like he needed an aid to be around him. I don't know if he had like what disabilities or any disabilities,
Some
but
type.
he
Okay.
needed an aid. It was like required that he needed
What?
an aid. And that day, his
Dude.
parents and their his parents weren't there to be his aid, and there was nobody in the classroom that was his aid.
Ah,
So that
shit,
just like
dude.
happened, and his teacher got injured.
That's
Um,
crazy. I didn't hear about that.
yeah, that happened recently. This
Yeah.
month,
That's
January.
scary. That can happen at any time, any day. Like, cause parents have guns and the kids aren't stupid. Like,
And
they're
it's just,
watching,
yeah, it's
you
just crazy
know?
because it's like he had access to that gun so easily.
Yeah.
Why the fuck was some 6-year-old having
Yeah.
access to a gun?
Yeah, dude. I don't know like what the solution is except like more awareness. Like I feel like we should take a class
Yeah,
in
right?
high school or something like, hey, like
That's true.
I don't know what the class would be about, but like out of all the stupid classes they have us take, you know, like health and
True.
safety and
Yeah, it could be
shit.
thrown in the health and safety department.
Remember they had us take career
Oh
pathways.
God, that doesn't help
Look,
anybody with
look at us now.
anything.
We're doing a podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
In a car
I remember,
in
dude.
Burger King.
Yeah, look at how successful. No, I'm just kidding. That class was a freaking joke of all classes.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember the friends I made there. I don't remember anything the teacher was teaching me in that class.
Remember the teacher was pissed all the time.
Did you have Miss Maloney?
No, I never had
She
her.
was a big lady, big white lady.
For what, like English?
Career pathways.
Oh, she was career pathways. I
Yeah.
didn't have her. I had an old guy.
Was he the skinny PE teacher?
No, he was like kind of fat.
Okay,
And he
never
was
mind.
way in the corner by Otto.
Oh, on that side.
Yeah.
No, I don't know who that was. I was in the like the music department in career pathways.
I don't know where that is.
Oh, well.
When I think about high school, I feel like I was like in jail or something.
It felt like jail every fucking day.
It looks like a jail.
It did. It looked like a jail. It
We were
felt like a
prisoners.
jail. The narcs treated us like inmates.
Dude, I remember in sixth period, one of my classes was near the gates where you would leave, and like
Mm.
I would just see people like
Just jumping.
yeah, like the cool kids like jumping the fence. I remember seeing Melissa like every day. I was
Just
like,
jumping.
and I would just look at them, and I'm like, oh, I want to be them, like all stupid.
I used to jump that gate every once in a while, but then when I got to my senior year, if I was ditching, I would just so it got like I don't know, out of hand where I got the sticker that allowed you to leave sixth period and I put it on my
Oh,
ID.
damn.
So I was able to just walk out of
Yeah,
high
yeah.
school. So
I don't know how we got to this topic.
guns.
Guns in high school
Okay,
and ditching.
you're going to the military.
I'm going in the military, so I'll have a new perspective about guns.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure. A lot of people that actually do go to the military have this whole like different demeanor of
I think
like
I'm gonna change as
yeah,
a
I think
whole
you
ass
are
person.
too, and I'm gonna
Really?
probably be like, oh god.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, you're just a civilian, you don't
Yeah.
know shit.
I know. I heard you say that in like one of the episodes. You're like, "Oh, calling us civilians," and like,
No, I texted you that.
oh shit. No,
I
but
said,
it's
just
true.
don't go out there and then come
Call
back and call
people.
everyone a civilian.
I know. Nah,
Like it means something.
I'm gonna do it.
Big deal. Went to the military.
It's funny because like I really want to go actually. And yesterday my sister called me and she's like, well, no, she like called my mom the other day and she's like, oh, like she was trying to scare my mom to like
Why?
basically make me not go to the army. She's like, yeah, you know,
she's just worried about you.
yeah, she's like, you don't know how they treat gay people there. Like, I'm worried, like, you know, how they're gonna treat her, and like, you need to have thick skin, you know, basically saying like I'm too sensitive. And then my mom told me that, and I'm like, why is she telling you this?
Where is this coming
Like,
from?
I had no idea that she felt that way.
Yeah,
But then I was like, oh, she probably just doesn't want me to leave or whatever.
yeah.
And then she called me yesterday, and she's like, hey, like, you know, there's other options for you, like, to pay for school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't want you to go. Selfishly, I don't want you to go. But, you know, if you want to, obviously, like, that I'll support you and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, like, I truly do want to go. Like, I feel like it'll be a good experience, like, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'll learn something from it, and
You could always leave if you want, right? Is that how the army works?
no, you're in it for. No, I'm just kidding.
What the fuck?
No, the reserves. It's a 4 or 6 year contract
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
for the reserves. Yeah,
You're really committed.
because the reserves is 1 weekend a month. So if you total that up, it's like nothing.
yeah,
So yeah, that is
that's fucking
something.
crazy.
Yeah,
You're really committing.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I think it'll be fine. Like, I feel like it's weird because we don't have friends or we're not around people who join the military.
Mm.
So to us, civilians, I'm just kidding, we're like, what the heck, you know? But like, we commit to things all the time.
Yeah. I mean, whatever you want, however you want to put it, like,
It's not the same.
it's not.
We're committing to going to school.
Yeah, but easily you can just drop out if you wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, if you really can't be in the army, you can get discharged.
Yeah,
Dishonorably discharged or whatever.
That's what happened to one of my old friends.
One of your old friends?
Yeah, we won't mention names.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that because I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah.
What
So
happened?
he worked really hard to be in the Air Force because obviously it takes a lot more requirements and work to be in the Air Force. Like physically, you have to train like your body.
No, you don't.
You have to meet these weight requirements. You have to meet like to be able to pass these
That's for
tests.
all of them, though.
I don't know. I've seen some fat regular soldier people,
Okay.
but for the Air Force, I feel like it is different. I feel like they are stricter.
Hmm.
Um, and so they did that. They
But
they were
they were
able,
doing that before they joined, like preparing.
they were preparing for
Okay.
it,
Okay.
and
Oh, I kind of remember.
yeah, they became a part of the Air Force,
Uh huh.
and within like 2-3 months, like they like it's kind of funny and sad, but like there was like a going away party and
The
everything.
huge thing.
It was a big deal, and then afterwards they came back and thinking like 2-3 months.
Why? What did they say? Do you know the
They
story?
said it was just like really traumatic and like they
Huh?
got a lot of PTSD from it. That was it.
What?
Yeah.
For 2 to 3 months
Yeah.
in the training, they got PTSD.
I think so. I don't really know much about it, but
That's
yeah,
so
it was
weird,
just really
dude.
hard on them, so
That's
they
so.
came back.
I heard the Air Force is the easiest of all the types of militaries. They call it the chair force.
I heard it was the Navy actually that was the easiest one,
Hmm.
but I
Yeah.
don't know. Who really cares?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, they're all
I think the only
military,
people
so
that really care about like the title and like where they go are the people that were actually in the military. Because us civilians don't give a shit.
yeah, that's true.
We let them fight for the country, and that's fine.
You
They
guys do
chose
your
they chose that
business.
life.
Yeah.
um, and I personally don't have a problem with it. It's just like my thing is I don't know if you listened to the whole episode last week
Yeah, I did.
about the OnlyFans thing is like, dude, the OnlyFans thing, just like don't try to shit on people for not doing the OnlyFans things.
And that goes for
And I
everything
think
we
that goes for
do.
everything. So it's like do your military shit, but like don't hate on people for like not doing it. And
Yeah,
don't try to
yeah.
make people feel bad because we like normal people could also like say something else that's hurtful and make you feel like shit. Just like I've heard people try to talk. That's why I said it to you actually.
Yeah.
I've heard somebody say like talking shit about civilians, and I thought it was
Oh.
just really like laughable.
I've never heard anyone talk shit about civilians.
I've
Like,
met people, a
that's
lot of people
stupid.
actually, in like that were involved in different whatever military
Branches.
branches
Yeah,
groups.
that's what it's called.
So I'm just
Huh.
like don't.
Yeah,
You just
it's
at the end of the day, you're human. You're a person.
yeah, you're just a person that did hard things by your own choice.
You chose
You
that.
chose that
People
life.
choose to like live their life, and it's fucking hard every day. So,
Yeah. Um yeah, so that's all true.
but okay. So let's talk about why. Like one of the reasons you're going into it.
Well, the main reason to begin with was to pay for school because, like, the military has a lot of good benefits.
Yeah.
Like, they'll pay for school while you're in it,
Mm-hmm.
and then they also have the GI Bill that you can use even when you're out of it, and
Yeah.
that pays for school as well.
Yeah.
You can buy a house with no down payment, and you have like you have health insurance,
Yeah.
and like I think it's pretty good. It's like cheap, you know.
Yeah.
And then you have like a retirement. I forgot what it's called, but you have something on top of like your regular social security.
Do you think that the military has changed over time? Um, in the way that I mean is like I see a lot of people like our age that do actually benefit or have benefited from being in the military.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I can't say the same about older people
Mm-hmm.
that were in the military back in the day. Like how or why do you think that's changed if it
Um,
has?
yeah, so I think it's changed. Like, I feel like maybe they're a little more, I guess, lenient. Um, because nowadays you can literally record what's going on and you have a voice now
Yeah.
for the most part. So you can say the shit that's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I guess back in the day, which was probably even 10, 15 years ago, like women didn't really have a voice and you didn't really have proof or access to showing the world like what's going on.
Yeah.
But now with like social media, like I guess the military can be exposed easily.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to make things more safe. Cause like I had that concern, of course, because there's literally people where I work who are
Yeah.
vets who have been raped.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And that's really common, especially with women.
yeah.
That's,
And I was like, well, like, like how did that happen, you know? And
yeah.
they're like, it just happened, but you know, nowadays, like, you have a voice, and if it happens to you, like, they're gonna do something about it, and they're like set for life. Not that it's like worth it or anything,
Yeah.
but they don't have to work anymore
Yeah.
if that happens to you.
Yeah.
So that's good. But also I know that back in like the 80s, 90s, and like all the vets who were in what war, like Vietnam and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they were coming out of it. They had like severe PTSD, so all of the people in the army during that time weren't getting as much support because
Yeah.
they had to support all of those previous people.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of like there hasn't been like, I think people are recovering from like Iraq and 9/11 and stuff, but it's
Yeah.
not that bad. Like they're supporting everyone at this point.
Well, I had a classmate when I grad Kelsey Long Beach. He actually he was my age, and he went to Iraq like so
Mm,
young.
damn.
And it's crazy because sometimes like we would be talking and he'd just be like, sorry, I had a flashback, or like, yeah, it was
What?
crazy. And like he would have flashbacks in class sometimes, or
Dude.
like when we would just like hang out or just like study, and it
Yeah.
would kind of creep me out because
Oh
I'd be
shit.
like, hello.
Like he would just zone out basically.
Yeah.
But do you know what he did there?
I remember he told me like he like shot
Oh,
things,
so he
so
was
he
like
was like
right up
on the
front.
front. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cuz like obviously, dude, with those
He's
jobs,
killed people.
yeah.
That's what he told me. He's killed
Mhm.
people, and like that's fucking traumatic.
Yeah, if you're going to go in and like have that type of job, like there's no doubt sadly you're going to have
Yeah.
PTSD, you're going to need therapy. And I mean, they have support for those people,
Yeah.
but sometimes they leave and they don't want any help because they want nothing to do with the military anymore.
Yeah. And I get that too. That makes sense. Like they kind of just want to like distance themselves from
Mhm.
what kind of caused
Exactly.
that issue.
Cuz that's what I asked the vets, cuz a lot of them were homeless afterwards, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
and that's why I was actually trying to ask that because I like I said, I see like more younger people that were in the military that are a little bit more like successful, or like they just have like a better life
mhm,
in easy
better
terms.
quality of life.
But like vets that are homeless, that's like a big thing. Because you see a lot of them in like
Yeah.
Skid Row, and like um they're just a lot older, usually men.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm just like, I wonder like how or like what has changed.
Yeah. Okay. So I've asked the vets this, like, because they're like, I was homeless, like, right out of the military, this and that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, why were you homeless? Like, why
Yeah,
didn't
why
you go
was
get
that?
help? First of all, some of them say they didn't even know that they had these benefits.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like an openly talked about thing. Like, hey, when you get out of here, like, you still have benefits. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to be homeless or whatever. Like, they didn't know.
Yeah.
And second, I think also they didn't want anything to do with the military asking for help. I think they kind of wanted to isolate
Mm-hmm.
because they just didn't know what to do.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like this conversation can also still tie into just our like workforce in general.
Yeah.
Because like I know you have other reasons for wanting to be a part of the military, but
Right.
one of your main reasons is because you can't afford to go to school. And I
Yeah.
think that's like really fucked up, in especially because you want to focus on working with mental health issues, which is something that we really need in society. So
Mm-hmm.
it kind of like frustrates me that they make it almost impossible for people to actually want to help and like
Mm-hmm.
work with people in mental health. Like as it is, that's already something that is a difficult job career path, you know?
Yeah.
Because when you work in mental health, you don't just like, it's not 9 to 5. You don't just clock out. Like you take home some of that trauma
For
and what you
sure.
hear of like your clients and things like that.
Hmm.
So it's like, I don't understand why our society makes it so difficult for us to want to help people or try to help people
Yeah.
by, making school so expensive. So, and then not even have a promise in like a strong salary once you graduate.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
not even fucking licensed after that. You
I
still have
know.
to put in hours and things like that. And
Yeah.
I think that's a problem in our society. And I don't know
Hmm.
how we can fix it, but
Well, I think they should have more incentives. They should have more grants and
right?
scholarships and more, because like if you become a teacher, they have tuition waivers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Certain jobs have it. I heard also if you work for a nonprofit.
For therapists, that's the same similar, I guess, benefits apply. Where if you work for a nonprofit for 10 years,
Oh, for 10 years.
then you can get some of your student loans
Oh
waived.
crap! Yeah, so they make it like super hard. It's like not even guaranteed.
Yeah,
They should definitely have more incentives because it's just obvious that mental health is not a priority in California.
exactly. Well, in the United States, just in general.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Oregon prioritizes it a little
Or
bit more.
Oregon's different though. That's like
They're
one
like,
state that you've
yeah,
experienced that maybe the
yeah,
mental health is a little better, but
yeah,
there's so many states that don't
for
prioritize
sure.
that.
Like, one of the residents where I work, she's from Montana, and she said that they have no mental health jobs at all. And I was
Yeah,
like, what the hell?
I
Like,
believe that.
how is that? How is that right? And then like in Oregon, like it was only a little bit better, but it made me see the difference because like living in California your whole life, like you don't know, like
What
you think
else?
this is
Yeah.
just the way it is, and then
Yeah.
you go somewhere else and you're like, wait, it's like kind of better in certain ways. And
Mm.
coming out here, I was looking for jobs, and I'm like, they're paying shit for the same job I was doing because they don't care about mental health, dude.
Yeah. The fact that there's such a huge population in California. There's
Mhm.
a high cost of living,
Yeah.
and then to not pay
Yeah.
shit for those types of
It's
jobs.
ridiculous, and that's like it makes me want to not live here, but unfortunately I still do want to live here. So but
So there's a lot of pros and cons to living in California and in LA.
yeah. But I mean, I heard like a few months ago that the governor Newsom, he was going to do like a new bill to have like 100 more like thousands more jobs or something
Mm.
like that for mental health
Yeah.
in schools.
Yeah.
So I was looking into it and I'm like, well, I don't see these jobs anywhere.
I know that's like typical politics. Like we're gonna create thousands of jobs,
Yeah,
and like we're gonna
yeah,
do this and that, and then
yeah.
it's like, well, what's going on?
Because when that happened, my mom and my sister sent me the news article.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh, cool, that's like good news. But I'm like, but when is it going to start like coming into effect? Probably not for a long ass time.
yeah,
I mean, I feel like mental health is becoming a bigger thing, but like it's just stupid that it's not already.
yeah. Seriously,
Yeah.
I'm just like frustrated with like the workforce, our education
Mhm.
system.
Mhm.
It's just like, I do want to help people, but it kind of feels like it's getting impossible
Mhm.
because it scares me too. Like I don't want to be in debt.
Yeah, I know, but
Like I get to take home all this stress from somebody who's experienced trauma and then like not even give them my full attention because I'm stressed out
yeah,
because I need to pay for
you
things.
have
So
your own shit.
at the end of the day I'm using them just to pay off my loans. Like I
Yeah,
don't find that like a good situation to
yeah.
have therapy.
It makes you not even want to do it because we're also not going to be getting paid like the
Yeah.
highest. I think
Yep.
the highest paid therapists are like the school ones, which like is weird because it should just be like the same all around
Yeah.
because you're all doing therapy and it all should be a high paying job
Yeah. It should be.
because you have to go to school for like freaking ever.
Seriously.
Yeah,
It's like 3 years.
like at least 3 years
But
with your
then after you
hours.
graduate, you're not licensed, and then you still have to like put in
Yeah.
free hours of your time,
You
and
can get paid for some places though, but it's not a
some,
lot. It's not a lot of money.
yeah, exactly. And it's not. And it's like, that's my time that I just
Yeah.
fucking graduated from. And like, that I don't think it's fair to put someone that wants to work in mental health in that type of situation after they graduate, you know?
Hmm.
I think it's really fucked up. And
And I'm not doing it anymore.
well, my thing is I want to do therapy so that way I can at least be certified to then eventually be able to branch out to alternative therapy because I
Mm.
don't necessarily think regular therapy the way it's provided right now is like the best type of therapy. I
Hmm.
mean, I mentioned to you like I'm like for like psychedelic therapy
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
like just like alternative ways of utilizing therapy in different forms.
yeah.
Um, but unfortunately, in order to do things like that, I think you have to kind of be like certified so that way you have like a backbone to stand on and people
Hmm.
take you seriously.
Yeah.
That's how I see it, but I
So that takes even longer.
yeah, right? So it just like frustrates me because it's like I just want to help people. I don't understand why I have to go through all of these obstacles to like
Yeah.
do it.
I mean, it is a lot of obstacles, but I mean, it's frustrating, but I do feel like for us to go through all of this, it is going to make us a better therapist.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I know. It's just like
because a lot of the
feels
clients
impossible.
complain about their therapist who are
Yeah,
too young. They're like they're too young, like they don't know like what they're talking about, like they don't take them seriously.
that's true. I can
And
see how that makes sense, even
even
if, that's not necessarily true.
yeah, like even if they are a good therapist, like unfortunately someone older is probably not going to listen to them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool, if I'm a 40-year-old therapist,
They'll
um
take you seriously.
maybe they'll never take me seriously. But either way, as long as you are confident in
Yeah.
yourself,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
because, yeah, I see that. I think in a lot of places, a lot of people, especially older people, they don't want to take younger people seriously because they're like,
Yeah,
what the fuck do you know? You
exactly.
haven't lived your life. And it's funny because there's this comedian, her name is Taylor Tomlinson,
Hmm.
and Jesse doesn't like her.
What the heck?
And I've never really paid attention to her or like watched her or anything, but he's like it's just annoying that she's like she started off like as like a 20-year-old, early 20s, probably like 2021,
Mm.
and she got a Netflix special like around that time.
Oh.
And he's like, and it's just like annoying because like what the hell does she know about life? You know how like when you hear a funny comedian, they're like talking about their experience in life and like how they've kind of struggled or like things like that kind of make it relatable and funny.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's just saying, he's like what the fuck does she know about like
Yeah.
struggling? She's only 21. Like, do you
21,
remember when you were
dude.
21? You didn't know shit.
Yeah. We were
And
stupid at 21.
so it's like you're as a comedian, you're talking to people as like having this whole experience in life. But
She's going off of like stories and
yeah,
experiences.
storytelling, and it's kind of like okay, I
So,
kind of understand what he's saying,
yeah.
but I think that also applies to like older people that have young therapists, and they're just like,
Mm-hmm.
well, like maybe if you take a hot bath.
But I mean, we all have a bias. Like you,
Yeah,
when you meet your therapist for the first time, you're not gonna trust them. You're not gonna think they're gonna understand you until like they start opening up a bit and they're a little bit
true.
vulnerable because you're like, why am I gonna listen to you? Like you've never gone through what I've gone through, and then like, but obviously like we all go through shit. It doesn't have to be the exact same, but it's
Yeah,
probably like similar emotions.
yeah, yeah. I think so too. I think it's just hard for people to. Well, so a lot of us that are younger, I think we're a lot more knowledgeable and aware and a little more educated than older people now.
Hmm.
Um, Not saying like all of us are like that, but
Right.
I think some older people don't give us that
You
credit.
don't give us enough credit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that we actually do know what they're
Do you
talking about.
think that people our age, like friends you have our age, do you think that they're wise?
Um, some people. It
Some
depends.
people?
It depends on like what I know about that person
Mm.
and like what I know they've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can always take advice from anybody because you could always form like words in how you need to interpret them and like
Yeah.
what you need to hear in your life to make that make sense or make you feel better, like think of things in a different perspective.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there are some people is like, what the fuck do you know?
Yeah.
Why are you telling me about this?
Cause like my sister, she was like, honestly, like because she was telling me that she thinks I should eventually be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I was like that sounds great and all, but like to be honest, like I feel like I'm the type of person that needs to have a routine based off of like a job that I have, an
Yeah,
employer.
you need like just that type of structure.
Yeah, and then she was like challenging me. She's like, "Yeah, but how do you know that?" She's like, you're wiser than you think. Like you're way more wise than a lot of your friends." And I was like, "What the heck?" I was like, "I don't know. I feel like maybe like we don't give ourselves enough credit
Hmm.
sometimes."
I think you are a wise person. I think actually both of us are very like mature. I mean,
Sometimes.
we've always been like in that way, just a little more mature in how we see things and how we see the world. I mean, mature can mean a lot of things. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, maybe we don't have our own houses, but what that doesn't define a mature person.
Mhm.
Like that just we've experienced society the way it's been brought to us, and for unfortunate reasons we haven't been able to like make that money to be all these like quotation marks mature things that we're expected to be.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean that we're not wise or mature people. I think we're
Mhm.
like level headed for the most part.
Yeah.
um as far as for you being an entrepreneur, um I mean, it is what you make of it. So if you felt that you are and you think you are, then maybe you are. And if you're not, then that's okay too. Like
Mhm.
it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
your sister's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think maybe she just sees a little bit of you in her,
Yeah.
and maybe it's like,
Well, because this is what she's telling me. Like we all have an employee mindset,
yeah,
and when we have that, it
yeah,
takes a while to get rid of it. She said she
true,
had that mindset
true,
2 years into having her own business
yeah,
because she would work every day, say yes all the time, didn't want to let people down
yeah,
because she was like, you'd be surprised what you make yourself do when you're the only one you can rely on.
exactly. I completely agree with your
Yeah.
sister. Like,
And
totally.
I was like, okay, like you're totally right about that. And then she was saying it took her 2 years because her husband was like, why do you work every day? You make your own schedule.
Yeah,
And she's like never realized that,
yeah,
because we're so stuck in this mindset,
yeah,
which like I don't think there's anything wrong with having an employer. Like if you have a good job, you like your job, like good for you.
yeah.
But I feel like yeah, there is other options.
Yeah, and I think right now we're in this time where everyone wants to be a hustler and an entrepreneur.
For sure, yeah.
And
And that's
sometimes,
good.
yeah, and it is really good, especially for minorities to like have that ability to do that. But I don't necessarily want to shit on the people that don't want to do that either,
For
because
sure,
it
yeah.
doesn't make you a better person that you're being an
Mm-mm.
entrepreneur, and it doesn't make you a better person that you work at this really great job. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think to each their own.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, if you see that in you, then you should definitely try it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
and you're
exactly.
failing if you don't even try it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's so true. And that's why like, the whole army thing, I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh, what if I don't like it?" Like, well, I won't know till I go
so you
and try
try.
it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think at this point anyone can change your mind about it, and I think you're already set. So the most anyone can do is just support you at this point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So as much, I think it's important that your sister at least expressed like it was her own selfish way of saying like she didn't want you to go because she loves you and she wants to like see you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think at this point it's just like just supporting you and supporting whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So
And I really, really appreciated like her telling me that
yeah,
because I don't know, like it's just crazy how a lot of people like and their siblings and their families, like they don't have I don't know, I just feel grateful for my relationship
yeah,
with my sister and like my mom because my sister could have easily like shit on me about the whole thing, you know?
Exactly. And some people are just really bad with their words, and she could have made that approach a completely different approach where it's like, well, you're stupid for doing that. Why are you even doing, just
Mm-hmm.
making it all about,
Attacking
like,
me.
attacking you.
Yeah.
And she was honest about it and vulnerable and
Mm-hmm.
expressing like that she actually just didn't want you to go.
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot more than somebody that's just like being mean to somebody about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, because, sometimes people will hold grudges and be like, well, you didn't support me here and there. And they'll
Right.
never know why that person was so angry or upset for, in this case, like why they left
Right.
to the military. They'll be like, I'll never know why my sister was such a bitch to me before I left to the
Mm-hmm.
military. And at least like now, not that your sister's a bitch, but like
Yeah,
at
yeah, I
least now
get
you
you.
know where that's coming from.
Yeah,
And it's coming from a good place.
it's literally all about communication.
Yeah, totally. And how you word things and your
Mm-hmm.
tone. I think that's
Yeah.
important. Um, but I was actually also trying to go into a different topic, even though we kind of hit like where we were supposed to talk about.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about because we only have like 20 minutes left, less than 20 minutes. Um, so have you ever had a job that like you hated and you wanted to quit, or you actually told off your boss?
Well, yeah, I've had a job that I hated for sure. I never told off my boss, but I still regret not doing that. Like, so yeah, when I
Do you
worked,
have their phone number?
dude, no, but I know their full name.
Do you know their address? Anything?
No.
You're not giving me anything.
Why, you're gonna go over there and tell them
I
something?
find people's bosses' addresses. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Your hidden talent.
My hidden talent is, yeah. So if you're ever questioning why something
Shit.
happened to you and like you're like, it came out of nowhere, it was me.
Yeah, that's awesome. You're like the hitman for
Yeah. Um, yeah, so
um
what was the story?
well, I don't know if it's much of a story, but yeah, I hated my job at the movie theater. Like I loved it. I loved working there, but I hated it cuz my boss was such an asshole.
Yeah.
He would always like give me shit for not smiling enough and not being like a bubbly personality, and he was just like mean to me
Yeah.
for like no reason, and for some reason I just was like taking it. I was like, yeah, like I should be better, you know?
Yeah, and that I'm sure that even affects like your self-esteem, or it could have affected your
Yeah,
self-esteem.
I'm thinking like I must have had some low ass self esteem during that time to work there for 3 years.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I started going to school that I started seeing like more potential in myself, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, you know what? I'm gonna like get a new job. And I just started noticing like the people around me, like my friend group. I was like, they're not doing shit, you know? And like I don't know, honestly it was school that opened up like my eyes more, because just being there, it honestly made me think like, oh yeah, like I suck like as an employee or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I've always thought I sucked as an employee. Like I've
Yeah.
actually intentionally always sucked as an employee
Yeah, that's
because
good.
I never wanted to be the best worker. I never wanted to be employee of the month. I never wanted to be a fucking manager.
Yeah.
Still don't. Like I I just have never had that mindset because I've
Mhm.
never wanted to work for anybody.
Right. Okay.
So I've just always known that I've had to work for somebody to get me by,
Yeah.
but that's not where I see myself, and that's not where I saw myself like even when I first started working.
Mm.
So but I've experienced similar well, like a similar experience where you're saying like your boss was like mean to you and telling you to smile more, because
Yeah.
I actually had a manager who told me that one time. She compared me to some other girl. She's
Yeah.
like, why can't you be more like her? She's bubbly and smiles. And I was just like, because I'm not her.
Yeah.
And then I told my original boss, who actually had hired me for the same company, I had told him, I was like, this is what she told me. He's like, she's a dumb bitch.
Hell yeah.
He's like, he's like, she doesn't understand that that's just like you and your personality.
Oh
And I
man.
really respected my boss for that, because
For sure.
he was kind of similar. We both had like monotone voices. We were both always like
Mm.
really sarcastic. So I think he like understood that you can easily be misunderstood when you're not always smiling and you're not like this
Mhm.
bubbly person. But
Mhm.
it's just like that lady is like this bubbly person, so she expects everyone else to be like her.
Yeah.
And I just remember it did take a little bit of a toll on my self-esteem because I was just like, I've been told that my whole life.
Yeah.
Because
Because we're both monotone.
Yeah.
We both have
Because
mono.
we both talk slow and we both like
And
have
we're
a
both
monotone voice.
slow.
So there's like, why don't you smile more? It's like, you know how insulting that is because guys don't get told that. It's always like usually
Mm,
girls that get told that if
yeah.
they're not smiling enough. And that's
Yeah.
like the fact that it was a woman that told me that, I was like, you're incorporating to this whole problem of,
Yeah, she's not
sexism in
helping.
the workplace.
Yeah. Um,
And
yeah, that's funny because we both have that same like I guess working
ethic.
work ethic. Yeah. But like I feel like even them telling us that, it kind of for me and it sounds like for you too, it made me want to like rebel against them and like really not be that person
Yeah.
that they wanted. So like it was just like reinforcing it even more, but I feel like it wasn't helping the situation.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's just us and like yeah, we're not these picture perfect people that are, like what the fuck? You
We
don't
are
pay
who
me
we
enough to
are.
smile like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. They really don't.
um my boss now, I respect her. She like, accepts me for who I am and like how I am and how I dress.
Yeah.
So like
That's awesome.
she's chill. So I respect that about her. But yeah, that's happened to me in the workplace
For
and
sure.
um
Probably a lot of people too felt that.
there's this one time where I was working at a yogurt store, coffee shop,
Yogurt store.
Penguins.
Penguins.
And I had told off my boss before I
You
left,
did?
but yeah, I didn't tell you that. Yes, I did. I told you.
I be forgetting.
You forget literally everything.
I know. It's bad. It's a
um
long time ago.
it was a long time ago, but this was the only like relief I've ever had from like a shitty job. Because after that, like all my jobs, my bosses were just like, okay, just put in your 2 weeks.
Okay.
Whatever. Um and so this my boss, she was the owner of the shop, she called me and she's like, Alexis, why are you on the phone? I see you in the cameras. And
Ew.
I was like, what? I was like, Mark has told us that, which was her husband, who's a fucking weenie, and I think he
Oh.
was like, not that it's a problem, but I think he
He
was
was.
gay.
I remember this. Yeah.
Um, and I was just like, well, Mark told us that if we were done with like all the work that needed to be done and it was slow, we can be on our phones. She's like, you know what? You've been having an attitude with me
Oh
and this
my
and that. And
gosh.
I was telling her, I was like, why don't you tell all the other employees that are on their phones? Why are you calling me and telling me this?
Yeah.
And she's like, and that's where she said, she's like, you've been having attitude with me these past few weeks and this and that. She's like, the last time I was there, you didn't even say hi to me. And
I
I was
don't
just
like
like,
you.
what the fuck? Yeah, I don't like you. I didn't say hi to her because she does annoy me.
Yeah.
And but I played it off enough where it was like not that noticeable. Obviously she noticed, but I played it off because I was like pretending to be with customers and talking to them.
Mm.
So it was like I didn't have time to say bye to you. I didn't want to.
You were busy.
So yeah, so I told her that and she was just like, she's like, do you have a problem working here? Do you have a problem with me and this and that? And we
Damn.
were just going back and forth on the phone.
What
And
did you? Do you say yeah?
I did.
Okay.
I told
Okay.
her
That's
yeah, and
awesome,
I just told
dude.
her because like, you're like singling me out and you're not like, you haven't told me what your problem is with me, but you're not telling any of your employees and that's not fair. And I was like, and she's like, we just gave you a raise and this and
Oh
that, and
my
this is how you're
gosh.
gonna treat us. I was like, first of all, you gave me a fucking raise because the minimum, I started cussing at her because I was so
Yeah.
mad. I was like, the minimum wage went up. So technically, you actually didn't give me a raise. And she was just like, I can't believe you're talking to me like this. Like, I was like, you know what? Save
What?
it. I'm putting in my 2 weeks. And she's like, save it because you're fired. And I was like, cool.
What?
And then we hung up and I was like, I don't know, dude. I was just like, holy
Dude.
shit.
You've never told me this story.
It was probably like
That's so good.
one of the best feelings
Yeah,
ever,
hell yeah. Wait, you should have gotten unemployment if she fired you.
I guess. But it was cool because actually within like a week or two, I actually got a call to be interviewed for LAUSD.
Mm,
So I was getting like $5 more than what I was making there anyway,
yeah,
which was it worked out,
for sure.
luckily. And
Damn.
yeah, that was some crazy shit. And it was fun.
That sounds awesome, dude. You guys were like yelling at each other,
Yeah,
like,
but like the thing is that I regretted not egging their house or like throwing shit at their
you know where they
car.
live?
At the time I did,
Oh
and I
shit.
just completely forgot to save it. And
Yeah.
I just like I meant to intentionally like wait a year or two to do that.
Yeah, they'll probably know it was you.
But I feel like karma came through because like they're out of business anyway. So
Yeah,
it
they're
it,
terrible
it
bosses.
worked out.
Yeah, I mean that guy who was a asshole to me, he had like really bad health.
Yeah.
He might not
He's
even
probably dead.
he might yeah, dude. He might not even be alive right now. He smoked like a
Yeah.
pack a day.
It always karma always comes back,
So,
so
yeah, I can't waste my energy on that dude cuz I'm sure he's yeah.
yeah, right?
He also got fired actually. So, like
So it came through.
yeah, he had an investigation going on because he was such an asshole and he was being like a sexual predator.
Yeah.
So yeah, he got fired and that was it. But I always wanted to do something to his car,
Yeah, right?
his Honda CRV. I yeah,
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna figure it out and I'm gonna find out how to throw dog
your
shit or
old
something.
bosses.
Yeah. Just at all these people that
What's
need a reminder of what an asshole you are.
They do need a reminder. What's in that spot now where Penguins was?
I don't know, I haven't passed by.
I feel like it's a yogurt spot again. Like
It just is really funny because like yeah, that's what I was. Dude, when I left, I was like, I hope they close down. I hope they fucking close down these
yeah,
motherfuckers. I hate them.
I'll
Like,
burn them down. I
I thought about it.
I'm sure you did.
I don't know what's in that plaza though, where the business was, but they had two businesses, two frozen yogurt businesses, and
Where was the other one?
it was in La Cañada. And they're closed
Oh,
too.
for sure. Yeah.
So,
Damn. Did you keep in touch with the people there after?
not really. Some
Mm.
of them are still on like Instagram, but I don't really talk to them.
Some of them still work there at the new yogurt shop.
Yeah. Um, but that was my best experience of leaving a job.
Damn, that's a good one.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
think I think people should be encouraged more to be strategic about how to get revenge on your bosses and like how to tell them off in
Mhm.
the best
Mhm.
way. But
Yeah.
my mom always gave me that mindset since I was
Oh
young, and I
shit.
think that was like a privilege that I had. Um, and she was actually proud of me when I told her that. She
Yeah.
was like, "You know what, Mija? You don't need a job right now. Like, we
Aw.
have at the time I think I was like 20, 21, something like that. And so, my parents were like fully supportive of like paying for my things and like
Mhm.
but they never had to because
You
except
always
for
had
my
a
house
job.
and like food, but like yeah, they didn't have to worry about me. But my mom did give me that like mentality where she was just like, you know what, as long as we can afford to have the house and you can eat, like you don't have to worry about that stuff.
Mhm.
And so that's why like I had the ability to be able to be like, you know what, fuck you, lady, I
Yeah.
don't even want to
Yeah.
work here. You think that this is like what, the best place to work? Are you kidding
No.
me?
It's a terrible job.
I wore a fucking penguin suit. No, I'm just kidding.
That would have been awesome,
If I
dude.
wore a suit.
Yeah, I feel like that's why I didn't tell off my boss because I was scared to lose the job, and I felt like I didn't have the self esteem to be like I'm just gonna go get a new job. Like
Yeah,
I
right?
didn't have that at the
Yeah, and
time.
a lot of people don't. And that's why I say
Yeah,
it's like a privilege because a lot of people need that money to be like paying for
yeah.
rent, paying for whatever they need to pay for. So,
Damn,
um,
that employee mindset,
yeah, that your sister
scary.
was talking about.
Yeah, it's scary when you quit your job and
Which is
for
true
everybody.
though, because we're basically trained to like have an employee mindset as a kid when we go
Yeah,
to
and
school and
the
everything.
education system
We always
trains
have to
us.
listen to like the boss,
The
which is the
teacher. They're
teacher.
gonna grade us on our behavior and our work.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have a bell, and when the
Exactly.
bell
We're trained
rings,
to
we
be
go.
like an employee, and
Yeah.
it's like fucked up because an entrepreneur is like taking those risks in like going against that system.
Yeah, completely. Because I feel like in school, in American education system, they
Yeah.
don't teach us to be creative, to like literally think outside the box. They teach us to be like almost prisoners, dude.
Exactly. What the fuck? Why are we all gated up and like
Yeah,
bells and things like that? That's so.
yeah.
I remember this is going just off topic,
And then we
but
want to
like,
ditch.
remember Super Narc? He got in trouble for tackling a kid.
Dude,
That
that's
guy took
awesome.
his job way too
Yeah.
seriously.
I heard he was up to some stuff too, though.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super narc. He scared the shit out of me, dude.
Scared the shit out of everybody. And it was so weird because it felt like a fucking cartoon. It was like, well, Super Narc's gone and his nice twin brother is here.
He had a twin
He had a
brother
twin brother
that was nice.
that was
Oh
a
my,
narc.
what a joke.
Yeah, I was like, are you sure that's not Super Narc pretending
Yeah.
to be nice?
To be nice today.
It was crazy. It felt like a
Whoa.
fucking cartoon.
Our high school was a joke, dude.
But we are ending.
Oh, damn. That went by fast.
Yeah. I
Okay.
feel like we hit good points, though, of what I wanted to hit today.
Yeah. Very relatable, for
Yeah.
sure. If
Hopefully it is relatable.
Tell us your quitting your job stories or terrible bosses stories.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna point out like too. Somebody said that somebody had sent I guess it was like a glitter bomb to one of her bosses because he was like a player and an asshole. And like that he was like, what the fuck's this package? And he opened it and his whole office got full of glitter.
Dude. That's so sick. I actually just thought of a funny story, but maybe okay.
For next time, or can you do it really quick?
No, I can't. I'm just gonna tell you after though.
Okay.
It's about this chick that quit, and I was like, "You're my hero, dude." Well, she had to clean up shit in the bathroom.
Oh god!
And she just got her purse and was like, "I quit." And I was like, "Hell yeah!" And then I cleaned it.
Oh no!
Wasn't that bad?
That's funny though.
Yeah.
That actually happened to Jesse too, where he was working at H&M and somebody shit in the dressing room, and then he was like, they're like making him clean it because he was like the youngest and like
the
least
newest
seniority, yeah. And he was like, "No, I quit."
Dude, that's so sick.
So yeah. Anyway, we're ending. But yeah, let us know if this is relatable, if you have any stories, or what were you saying? Something?
What do you guys want to hear next week?
Yeah.
Before I go to the army.
Oh shit. I'm like, okay. Yes, and wish Jasmine farewell.
Saying my goodbyes.
We will see her in 3 months. Just kidding.
I'm not going anymore.
Just kidding. All right, bye.
Bye.